you could have heard this episode 48 hours early on our Patreon, patreon.com/indieheadspodcast. By joining us for as low as $1 a month, you will receive episodes early, gain access to our Discord server, and get yourself an Indieheads podcast sticker. All of our upcoming episodes will be on our Patreon 48 hours before it hits our public podcast feeds. So if you're hearing this through our Patreon feed, we want to thank you so much for your support. But we especially want to thank all of our Patreon supporters, including Becca Tien, Georgia Mikowski, James Boss, Marcy Anime, Chance Holdup, Delaney Mothman, Josiah Duncan, Jenna L., Matt Cameron, Grant in the Back of My Dragula, John Hayes, T. Christie, Charles, Nicole Rifkin, Tim's Discount Prices, Parker Gross, Andrew Grieve, Jay, Rena K., Ian, Matthew Taylor, I Like Books, Sarah Moore, Griff, Max Kapazinski, Mark Barry, Cal 50, Thanos Snapped Away Half My Donger, Chris Wade, Midwest Maxwell, Jake Wald, Grant, Keep Autism Weird, Rob Marino, Max, Dylan, Zach, Gavin Varney Freak, Maze Farms, Jason Daphnis, Kevin Cookman, Robin Parlow, Eric Chow, Josh, Holiday Kirk, Tyrone Chuhan, Jay Namjadi, Alexis Davin, Cody Gagan, Barely March, Vince LaFleur, Will Griffin, Corbin Camage, Gavlin, Matthew, Ethan Sapir, Kevin Bugar, Matthew McPherson, Randy Donaldson, Eleanor Grahams, Elizabeth King, Wilford Thrill, Gayros420, Lily, Jacqueline Kataga, Alec Felder, Talks to Trees, Molly O'Brien, AJ Moser, Eraser Red Baby, Matthew Herring, Jack Tiggleman, Sarah L., Jeremy Bowl, Alex Grishmanoff, and Derek Pemberton. And if you want to be amongst these names, consider supporting us on Patreon, where if you upgrade to the Real One tier, you'll receive a bonus episode every month on top of other perks. Anyways, though, enjoy the episode.
Love this one.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Indieheads podcast. I'm your host, Matty Monroe, and it feels weird to say that again after about 6 or 7 weeks of Pod Hero, as of course that little series was taking over our feed for the little bit. Rightfully so. It's a great series. Again, we just wrapped it up. If you've not listened to any Pod Hero and you love the Guitar Hero series, what are you doing? Go listen to those episodes. They're all great. But we're back with our mainline episodes for only a short time. We'll reveal why for a short time at the end of this episode. But at least until the end of August, we'll be back to our regular set of numbered episodes for a few weeks before we get into what is going to be our next series. But for right now, let me introduce our guest. Of course, Grant, welcome back to the pod.
It's good to be here, Matty. This is a special day.
It is a special day indeed, because we're accidentally recording this. Of course, I set the recording date to accidentally be on the day of our most important subject, but we'll get to her very soon. But our special guest of the evening, longtime friend of the pod, first time caller, J/Cheddahz, welcome to the pod.
Thank you. You know, it's funny. I've known Matty for like a decade now, maybe more, longer than a decade.
It's been a little bit. It's been a little bit.
So it's cool to be on. So, you know, yeah.
I think you're one of the only people in our Discord that has the friend of the pod like role that has never been on the podcast. So finally, you're no longer stealing valor. You are a friend of the podcast officially.
Finally, yeah. I mean, thank you for fighting me. The subject matter is pretty important tonight, so I'm glad to be here to teach everyone on the matter. So
you were needed for this episode. There's no doubt about that.
Yes. But we are talking some breakup songs. This is the playlist name, The Best Part of Breaking Up, is Folgers in Your Cup. And Grant here has put together a playlist of the very best of breakups. And would you say these are your favorite breakup songs, Grant, or these are just songs you feel are breakup songs that are just like important to the culture?
I feel a lot of these are just very ubiquitous songs that you think of. I put in some modern classics, things that were considered the breakup songs for me growing up. And of course, some all-time classics, like the first few songs on here. Basically, I wanted a real grab bag of just what you think of when you hear breakup as far as music goes. With the obvious exception, nothing in the Taylor Swift for Boys playlist that my brother put together. This is kind of...
Yeah, that's a whole different category. That's a whole different category of songs.
Yeah, there is no Toby Keith on this episode, sorry to say.
Rats,
again,
damn it.
We'll have to say that for Taylor Swift for Boys too, because I feel like we have more material that we can mine through for that topic.
Taylor Swift for Boys 2, AJ Moser will hold the podcast hostage again, talking about Who's That Man? And I'm so scared of that happening.
God. Well, again, we're not there yet, and also, even if we put Taylor Swift for Boys on the docket, it's not going to be recorded until like March or April at the earliest. So we have time. All right, but uh, let's get into it. Our first song on the playlist, it's "The Chain" by Fleetwood Mac, and I will say, after a few weeks of doing this podcast, where I didn't really have to worry about getting copyright stricken on any, when we upload the podcast to YouTube, which, hey, we do have a YouTube channel. We do post all of our podcasts there. It's just the audio, but it's just, hey, if it's easier probably to throw that on your TV than like something else. Anyways, we're probably gonna get a bunch of copyright strikes on this podcast,
Sorry.
probably on YouTube, but it is what it is. Our numbers on YouTube are terrible at this point because I think the podcasting aggregate app or link that we've been using does not include YouTube. So yada yada. Anyways, The Chain, Fleetwood Mac from their classic Rumors. And I will say, I'm surprised that you picked this one over either Dreams or Go Your Own Way. I'm not mad about it.
I didn't pick Go Your Own Way because I assumed that would be a future Pod Hero poll because it is on both Guitar Hero World Tour and Rock Band 2.
True.
And if I ever did my own best songs ever ? Playlist, Dreams would be on there because it is a favorite of mine. This is on here more because I grew up in Texas and they play this song, I want to say maybe 3 million times on the radio daily. This was Go Your Own Way notwithstanding. This was probably the first Fleetwood Mac song I heard in my life. And what other band is there to start a breakup playlist with than a song from Rumors by Fleetwood Mac?
Yeah, it kind of is at least for its time, the breakup album. Like there obviously were like breakup songs and I guess breakup albums before this one, but like this kind of sets it as like, okay, it is now officially like a pop culture cliche to have like an album like this. Like, hey, this is the breakup album, But of course, this is a Lindsey Buckingham song. Although of course you do hear a lot of the other band members, but this is a primarily written by Lindsey on this one. And we're gonna play. I think this is a perfect one to start with the hook that I have for this episode, which is asking the question: is our subject in the right? Now, whether we like it or not as human beings, we like to pick sides. All right, when let's say a celebrity couple breaks up, inherently a lot of us are gonna want to pick sides. We're gonna go, okay, I'm with her, I'm with him, I'm with them. In the case of if two non-binary people break up. But it's perfect for this because I think this is a perfect first song to introduce that question because Lindsey Buckingham, what a character he is, especially in this time. Because on this album, of course, we already mentioned Dreams, we already mentioned Go Your Own Way. It seems like Dreams is going to become the canonical pick from this album overall. If you had to pick one song from this record, and Lindsey Buckingham, based on everything we know about him, he is one messy fucking bitch. He is one messy bitch. He is so messy. Like even again, and everybody in Fleetwood Mac at this time is messy as fuck. But even within their unique scale, he is somehow probably the messiest bitch of them all. And he isn't the one that he didn't have an affair with anybody within the band, right? Like Mick Fleetwood had an affair with Christine McVie, right? And yet he is not even close to being the messiest bitch in this entire saga, right? Because Lindsey was bitter about it. He was very, very bitter about him and Stevie's breakup, especially.
Definitely, yeah.
And then you had cocaine in that mix. Oh, buddy.
Yeah, I feel like trying to solve the inner workings of Fleetwood Mac during the production of Rumors is kind of like trying to solve the what's the name of that fucking Russian snow pass where all the people like died and got irradiated? Dilatov Pass.
Oh god.
Like it's basically that. It's 5 people out of their minds on cocaine and they all hate each other because they all love each other, and it's just a very a situation I would never want to put myself in, but I am thankful that they went through it because they made some of the best music ever. This album it deserves its classic status. I think that Fleetwood Mac are genuinely one of the best bands to ever do it, and I wouldn't want another Fleetwood Mac just because I think in this day and age, you couldn't make a rumors. Everyone in the band would just start screaming at each other on TikTok or whatever, trying to get a hashtag Christy McVie is over party or whatever. This is a once in a lifetime album, and I don't know. I love Fleetwood Mac. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because I do feel like there has been, at least in the bands that I listen to, a weird rise in bands that feature members that were romantically together, but then eventually broke up and then stayed together as a band, like Spear of the Beehive, Water From Your Eyes. God, there's another one, Strange Ranger. Like, those are all bands that, like, two of the members were involved in relationships. They broke up. Band kept on, although Strange Ranger, they did eventually break up, but not because of the romantic breakup. That was just a whole different thing. But to go back to the question, is Lindsey Buckingham in the wrong? Most definitely. He is most definitely in the wrong, because here's the thing. The language that we have these days about relationships doesn't exist. If you were to translate the drama of Stevie and Lindsey into today's, it's like if fucking Lindsey wanted to open up the relationship, right? He wanted to open up the relationship, and then he got mad when Stevie Nicks was getting bitches and he was not getting bitches.
I was about to say this. Like, Fleetwood Mac is probably the first like mainstream like poly relationship we had. It's not like official, but like you can tell there's like some tension between like all the members. And like I think Rumors like definitely showcases that, like, you know, like they had like their own like separate relationships, but you can like definitely tell like the effects of like one relationship like affected another relationship.
Oh, 100%. You know, they're because because Stevie also was with, or at least had an affair with, Mick for a time, like a very short amount of time. I'm not sure if it was during the Rumors era, but I do know it was like not far off from that time where they were at least like some kind of item for a time. And again, here's the thing. Obviously, they did, you know, eventually this lineup of the band during the Rumors, they did break up. But of course, they got back together and broken up again multiple points. At this time, obviously, I think the band is probably done, most likely due to the death of Christy McVie.
Yes, yeah.
There's no way their band's going to get back together after that. You know, R.I.P. Christine, who has what I would say probably the most underrated song on this record, that being "Oh Daddy," which is, of course, the basis of a sample for one of my favorite songs of all time by Dean Blunt. Gotta again take a shot. You know, I had to mention him. If we're talking breakup songs, he's going to be, again, inevitably when I do my own best songs ever playlist, there's going to be so much Dean Blunt talk. But that being said, Lindsey Buckingham, so in the wrong. But God damn it, this song and Go Your Own Way, they're fucking great.
You know, it's funny too.
They're so good.
It's like, I wouldn't say he's like in the wrong until like the last part of the song where he's just like chain keep us together like over and over and over again. It's like there's definitely some like bitterness towards, you know, everything going on.
It's like, dude,
like he feels forced to be here still, and it's like you could just left.
I guess it's like yeah, you could have just left.
The door's right there, dude. Like, yeah,
you just chill, you know, leave. I guess maybe there's contractual stuff.
That's most definitely.
It's fascinating to me because this is definitely a bitter song, but it's so unlike any of the typical bitter breakups. This is a pre She Hates Me world, and I'm just so thankful that we can have male breakup music that sounds like this and not She Hates Me by Puddle of Mud.
Oh god, have we officially talked about that song on a podcast episode?
I was tempted to put it on this one, but
it's got, you guys say for Taylor Swift for Boys too. That's a Taylor Swift for Boys song.
That is a Taylor Swift for Boys song right there.
Most definitely it is.
But yeah, great song. Lindsey Buckingham. I would say die bitch, because he has mostly chilled out a lot since then. And also I would say, like, objectively speaking, from like his music taste, probably the coolest Fleetwood Mac member. Like he is a guy that almost tanked the recording of their next album because he was getting way into like early new wave shit. Like, because he just, the band's like, they're like, okay, we just want to, you know, keep making like stuff like Rumors, and then he's like, I want to make Talking Heads. I want to make a Talking Heads record, or I want to make a Joy Division record. So respect for him for being the first hipster of all time, Lindsey Buckingham. But let's keep it moving. Next song.
Is Lizzie Buckingham the head of the indie sleaze movement?
Ooh, dude. I mean, dude, he'd be tearing it up. He'd be tearing it up at the indie sleaze parties these days. If he took prime Lindsey Buckingham, he'd be fucking. I'm searching for pussy like a fucking techno Gatsby. Like that would be Lindsey.
Exactly. So you said hipster, right. So I had to throw up in there really quick. That's my only mention of it this whole time.
I mean, it's in the news. I think maybe whatever AI programs listen to our podcast to do data mining, maybe they'll hear indie sleaze and we'll become the biggest podcast in the world all of a sudden.
Amen.
Due to algorithms. But let's move on to our next song from Miss Lauryn Hill. It is X Factor. And listeners, I'm going to admit something. It's been a while since I have come to this podcast truly embarrassed about a fact about myself, because these days I just don't have a lot of shame. I don't have a lot of shame. I know my blind spots, but I've filled a lot of those since the beginning of this podcast. That being said, I have never listened to The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill in full.
Wow, really?
I was going to. It's funny. I was going to last year because I put it on my list for my music writers exercise, but I had personal life shit go down during the middle of February towards the end that completely delayed. Like I did not finish my music writers exercise because I had real life shit going on that I had to deal with.
Right.
So I never ended up listening to this record, but of course its legacy, its impact are just. It's just so much of this record has been absorbed by me through cultural osmosis.
Yeah, that's
or
fair.
Samples on Dean Blunt songs, or samples on various hip hop songs.
That sounds. I honestly, I was the same way about Rumors. I listened to The Chain earlier today, and I was like, I've never heard this song before.
Really?
And it made me realize I've never listened to Rumors. No.
I did actually. That was one that I did not listen to until I did my music writers exercise. Okay. Last year, I think at some point I was like, it's time for me to listen to Rumors, and it's a great record. I do need to give Tusk another go.
It's good.
I feel like I was not paying attention listening to that record, and I need to give it another go.
I've definitely listened to this record though. My mom was in her 20s in the 90s, so we definitely had a copy of this in the house. So
that would make sense.
It got played a lot, like a lot.
I just listened to a lot of 90s on 9 on Sirius XM, and they love Lauryn Hill, so this song was always in the rotation in the car.
Is this song about? I mean, do we know who she's singing about on this song? Is it, or is it just sort of a generic X? I feel like in the case of
I never actually looked into it, and I should have for this episode. But once again, I thought we were just gonna speed through all of these songs, so I did not.
We will again. Basically, once the songs are done playing, it's gonna be, we're gonna just speed through it. But okay, I didn't want to assume this was about Wyclef Jean, but it is about Wyclef Jean, allegedly.
Makes sense.
But yeah, this song is great. My first time listening to it in full for this episode, and yeah, it's fucking great. What I was gonna say, it is a heartbreaking, beautiful song. From an individual that is a very flawed individual, to say the least, about Lauryn Hill. And it's kind of funny that we're recording this episode when we are, because it was just announced that the Fugees reunion tour got canceled like 3 days before it was about to start due to low ticket sales.
Maybe she heard this and that's why she canceled it. Like it brought back some like feelings in her that she hasn't experienced in like 30 years.
It's entirely possible.
I genuinely never thought we'd get a Fugees reunion, not only because of all of the things that happen in Lauryn Hill's life and her own personal struggles, but also because the last thing I heard from Wyclef and Pras respectively was Wyclef's scam that they brought up.
Oh my god, that's right.
I totally forgot about that.
Wasn't the last time Pras in the news, he was like arrested for being like a Chinese spy or something? Like
what? Oh,
yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's
look.
All right, let me see if I can find this. Let's see where's the, okay, legal issues. Let's see. In June. Okay, here we go. It was Malaysia. So the United States of Department of Justice indicted Praz on May 10, 2019 for his part in an alleged criminal conspiracy with Malaysian financier JoJo. I know it's an actual name, but JoJo, it's so fucking funny to me. The DOJ alleged that between June 2012 and November 2012, Praz aided in the illegal transfer of approximately $865,000 from foreign entities into the Barack Obama 2012 presidential campaign. The DOJ alleged that these funds were disguised as purportedly legitimate contributions, but were stolen from the Malaysian Sovereign Wealth Fund, One Malaysia Development Berhad. Ultimately, the DOJ alleged that $21 million in foreign campaign contributions were funneled into the 2012 U.S. presidential election to benefit candidate A, and journalists found out that candidate A was Barack Obama, Washington Post, New York Times. He was then charged by a federal grand jury for running a back channel campaign to get the Trump administration to drop an investigation of JoJo and the 1MDB investment company. Oh my God.
This is not...
Welcome to Praz's life. The least interesting Fuji was just doing this in the background the whole time, apparently.
That's not all.
I want to say
that's not all.
I want to say there was like guitar solo at the end, like towards the end of the song, and like I think guitar solos are like kind of corny, but like I think breakup songs are too. So it's like the perfect fit, you know.
Sometimes you just
cancel each other
sadly
out.
Shred, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely not Lauryn Hill shredding on the guitar.
Well, yeah.
I wish it was, but like I think
it's definitely not
Unplugged. Yeah, based on Unplugged. No,
but like I don't know. I think I like because I used to hate like guitar solos a lot growing up because like to me that like emphasized like corny rock music or something like that. But like
Gavin, cover your ears. Gavin, cover your ears. Listen to some Megadeth or something.
Yeah, but as I've gotten older, like I think guitar solos like rule because like they're kind of cheesy, but like they're kind of bittersweet too. It's just like people rocking out, and I think sometimes when like during a breakup, you gotta rock out.
Exactly.
So.
True that. But of course, that's not all. He was also accused of advocating for the extradition of Chinese dissident Zhu Wenkui from the United States. In the plea documents of the former DOJ employee George Higginbotham, Praz was accused of paying Republican fundraiser Elliot Brody and others to have extradited to China. Though unnamed in the filings, Praz is easily identified due to linked cases and confirmation from sources close to the case. Praz vehemently and unequivocally denied accusations related to Higginbotham's case. So, okay, here's the thing. Excuse me, where's he getting this money?
Great question.
Even if you're even though the Fugees are a very popular band, and he probably had money and other stuff, how do they have this much money to to try to bribe a fucking Republican fundraiser and also like get involved in a $21 million lawsuit with the DOJ?
It would be easy to make the joke that like this is the Ringo of the group is doing this, but he's not even. People know who Ringo is. He's the Apple D app and the Taboo. Like he should not have the money to be doing this.
That's crazy. And then and of course, that's not even getting to the Wyclef Jean stuff, which we got to get to our next song. So I will try to very quickly find it in his Wikipedia page. Okay, it was all the Haiti stuff where he scammed again. He was raising money for Haiti, and then scammed people. He kept that money for himself. God, let's see let's see. Of course, he tried running for president. He was trying to be the president of Haiti.
Okay.
Jesus Christ. Haiti. Where does it say again? Is there no legal issues here that show that like he was?
He's probably
he definitely
scrubbing. He is trying to scrub this from his Wikipedia. So like.
But like legally, he can't. Like, how the hell can he do that? But not. How's Praz gonna wait?
Because we're the first people to click on Praz's Wikipedia in like 4 years. That isn't an editor, Matty.
That is true.
I want to mention, I think Praz's big singles "Ghetto Superstar," and like no one remembers that Praz is on that song.
Yeah.
If you told me that was like old ODB song, I would believe you 1%.
Oh yeah, he gets dog walked on his own song. Gives update on Praz following federal charges. Faces criminal probe over Haiti charity. So he accused of stealing money from Haiti. It's been well established. All right, let's move on. Great song. Lauryn Hill, of course, we can't even get to her own probably legal issues. And here's the thing. Actually, one more thing. If you're wondering why that tour got canceled, it was, due to low ticket sales, right? And you're like, okay, what, like Fugees and Lauryn Hill, she's still a big draw, right? And of course, if you remember anything about Lauryn Hill and her playing live, she has a reputation of just not showing up for shows or showing up super late to shows. And, usually when she actually does play and actually plays the full show, people are like, yeah, she's fucking great. But, she's someone that is obsessed with vibes, even though that's just not a real thing you can quantify. It's like, hey, you signed a contract, Lauryn. The vibes may tell you to play at 8:30, but the contract says 8:00. So yada yada. Lauryn Hill probably in the right, anyways, because Wyclef Jean seems like he sucks.
Yeah, I was about to say that's more than enough justification. Lauryn is the most innocent of the Fugees as far as everything goes, so I'm fully on her side.
Yeah, the most innocent of the Fugees, which still makes her quite a dubious party at the end of the day. I didn't even know that shit about Pros. That's fucking crazy.
I remember seeing it somewhere and thinking, oh, holy shit, someone is paying attention to Pros enough to make him be in the news,
Good Lord.
Insane.
Let's continue. Next song. Oh boy. This one's an all-timer.
Childhood classic right here.
It is a childhood classic, yeah.
Since You've Been Gone, Kelly Clarkson. The greatest Maps by Yeah's rip-off of all time.
Right.
Arguably, I would say this is better than Maps, and I like Maps a lot, but
can't agree with you on that whatsoever. But I respect it.
Hey, four is yours. Again, here's the thing: Maps is still a great song, and it's close. There's days where I'm like, okay, it's Maps, but I'm someone that does appreciate my classic pop music structures, and this gets right into it. It hits the pleasure centers of the brain right away. I'm like, it's where it takes its time to really earn it. But obviously, once you know the song, you listen to it a bunch. It's like, okay, the synapses are fired off right away. But
Since You've Been Gone,
I mean, come on,
it's good.
It's
good.
Man.
Yeah,
it's good. It's really good.
This is a childhood classic. I will love it forever. I will have to say I do give the W to Maps by the Yeahs just because I do love how raw and emotional that song is, and also it's not produced by Dr. Luke, which unfortunately
that's
this
true.
one is. But this is unfortunately still a childhood favorite of mine. I would love to Dr. Luke with a Matty, censor that, please. Katy Perry, you will never be famous again, and I hate you. Kim Petras, you will never be a pop star. Whatever. Fuck Dr. Luke, but Kelly is the draw here, and we should be talking about her. Just a all-time vocal performance. There's a reason that she is like one of two American Idol winners that still has any cultural relevance. She had it. She still has it.
Yes, I mean, she had the chemistry, and like I think that's the thing people forget about American Idol winners is like most of them don't have the chemistry to be like pop stars.
Yes.
Like they kind of just like we had an American Idol winner from my town actually in like 2013, and she like vanished off the face of earth like so quickly.
Oh yeah, I mean, and obviously, also American Idol in 2013 was very far from a relevant program.
Like who cares at that point? Like, it's kind of wild though. Like Kelly Clarkson went from doing this, and now she has like she had her own talk show. I don't know if she still does.
She still has a talk show. She still has a daytime talk show.
Okay, that's wild.
Because again, and she's not the first one to do it. There's been a couple of artists that have also tried to like pivot to having like daytime TV shows. Queen Latifah had one for a time, I think.
Right.
But Kelly so far has probably been the most successful of them, and like that's not saying a whole lot considering the place that like TV is in right now, especially daytime TV. But like her show is still on the air, and she has a hook to draw listeners in or draw viewers in because she does the karaoke stuff, and then also like she just seems like a nice, warm personality, and doesn't seem to get weird with it like Drew Barrymore does.
Yes,
She's not like trying to like she's not like getting up in people's faces and like doing like crisscross applesauce like on the same couch as them. Like she's keeping her distance. There's a great clip of when she was interviewing Jack Black on the show, and let's see, this was last year, so you can imagine what movie that Jack Black was promoting at the time. Let me see if I can find the video, because it is one of the funniest like cuts that I can think of. Oh, here we go. Let's see. Were you excited?
Easter eggs for people who grew up playing Nintendo games.
Were you excited to play Bowser?
Yeah, I was totally
Just Kelly Clarkson just earnestly asking Jack Black, "Were you excited to play Bowser?" Then just hard cutting to him in a fucking Bowser costume. Incredible. 10 out of 10. No notes.
I want to say also that just to solidify, I'll always think of Kelly Clarkson as like a genuine celebrity. Just because I grew up in her big, monumental growth in popularity post American Idol. I remember when Since You've Been Gone debuted. I remember kids singing it's just basically every song from Breakaway at our elementary school talent shows. Like one kid would do Breakaway, then it'd be like Because of You, Behind These Hazel Eyes. Like I think I heard every single one of these songs at least 100 times growing up. And Since You've Been Gone is like the alpha of that group. It's a great song. To solidify, Kelly Clarkson, season 1 American Idol winner. She has her own talk show. She's still doing great now. Season 2 American Idol winner Ruben stuttered last time I saw him. He was singing in a giant Beats costume on The Masked Singer, and he didn't even get to do it alone. He had to do it with Clay Aiken.
Damn, that's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. He probably didn't even win. He probably didn't even win that season, right?
He did win. Ruben stuttered won his season.
That's crazy.
I mean, did he win his season of Masked Singer too?
Oh no, he lost. Yeah,
that's what I meant.
He lost to Vanessa Hudgens, I think.
That's brutal. You can't even win what is probably the easiest. Oh, God, that's brutal, dude.
I want to say Since You've Been Gone, like as a breakup song, is like, I mean, you have to be on her side because like she's just like talking about, she's like saying about like how free she feels.
How can you not be on her side?
Yeah, because like
no, totally the right.
You don't even know like the other person's side, but she's just like, I can like sleep at night and like I wake up and I feel like free to do whatever I want. And you're like, okay, that's pretty badass of you, Kelly. Like, shout Since You've Been Gone.
Yeah, great song, amazing song. Kelly Clarkson, forever vindicated. Will never do any wrong. She will never get charged by the DOJ for finance crimes.
Amen to that. Kelly, please stay away from pros.
Yeah, stay away from pros. Stay away from pros. Don't if he's asking for money for the Harris Walls campaign, just find somebody else.
I can't believe Pros is fucking living like Mr. Frog and just no one cared to know it.
I know, but I'm not sorry. Like, Jesus Christ.
Frost is gonna like come out tomorrow. He's gonna be like, I'm relaunching my solo career, and the first single is gonna feature Kelly Clarkson, and we're gonna be like,
Get Up Superstar 2 is about to drop.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ! Oh God, you couldn't make Ghetto Superstar today because you get sued by the WWE because I think they have the trademark on Superstar at this point, so you have to pay them. I don't know if that's true, but the only time that I hear the term superstar used in like a somewhat professional setting is WWE. So I feel like they probably have some kind of trademark on the term superstar.
That's like when I found out that the wrestler Sting had the copyright on the name Sting, and Police Sting has to like pay him $1 every year to use it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Shouts out to WCW Sting. Shouts out to the Stinger. Retired this year, and immediately the company that he was working for starts going down the drain in the ratings. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Insane.
Hell honestly. Yeah. Let's get into our next song though. This is a song that I'm pretty sure I had heard before, but did not really know what it was until this playlist, and that is "Harden My Heart" by Quarterflash. This one's definitely just based on the monthly listeners and the fact that like listening to this kind of felt like unlocking a new memory. This is definitely a Grant ass pick. So Grant, explain yourself.
Look, I grew up in a household where If me and my twin brother Gavin, shout out Gavin, if we had the TV, it was on Cartoon Network and we were watching Ed, Edd n Eddy. But if my parents had the TV, I feel like it was always on a random ass VH1 countdown. And so that's where I learned so many songs. And this was on Greatest 80s One-Hit Wonders, I believe. And so I just assumed that this was like just as famous as, say, like Take On Me or Come On Eileen, because it was on the same list as those songs. But I always really liked this song growing up. I distinctly remember, I think it was Judah Freelander making a joke about this song, saying, when I was a kid, I used to sing this as I'm gonna pardon my farts, and I remember that would make Gavin laugh. So the song...
That's such a Max joke.
That is a Max joke right
Max
there.
Joke.
Shout out to our good friend Max and his amazing quotes. But I always really like this song. This is just very much so my kind of vibes. I like stuff that sounds like it should be playing in an elevator at like 2 a.m. when you're really cold for some reason. Mm-hmm. And that's the best way to describe Quarterflash, I think.
I'm on the Genius page for this song right now, and there's like 3 viewers. I'm gonna assume it's all 3 of us looking at the lyrics for this.
I'm not on it, but I'll be the 4th viewer right now.
I was just joking. I was just like, oh, there's 3 of us listen to this right now.
oh God! Also, again, amazing sax work on this song.
Yeah, it's
so fucking good.
So fucking good. I mean, I think the sax work is probably more famous or popular than like the actual song is.
Yeah, definitely. Like this, I like stuff that sounds like the Lost Boys, you know, and this is very much so Lost Boys score.
Also, again, good sax part right into like a really good like little guitar solo there. Ooh, baby. Also, awesome album art. This album art is fucking awesome. With this guy in a trench coat that looks like a cardboard cutout. They just kind of put some, just shine some lights on him in the woods.
Very X-Files.
Yeah.
Very Unknown Mysteries before Unknown Mysteries was a thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
like, if I saw a post-punk band have this album cover today, it would probably be like my album of the year, you know? So. Ooh. A little guitar. Ooh, I love the guitar kind of coming in on the mix there. Ooh. Sounds
it's a nasty ass breakup. You gotta get like that nasty, dirty guitar in there.
Yeah. I'm gonna assume this. I'm gonna assume Miss Quarterflash is in the right here.
They were originally called Seafood Mama.
That's so stupid.
Maybe one of the worst band names I've ever heard in my life.
That rules. They should have stuck with that.
That sounds like a band that AJ Moser would follow on tour.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Sounds like a jam band name.
Catch AJ Moser paying $70 for a custom Seafood Mama shirt in a parking lot somewhere.
Oh God! Again, AJ's gonna hear that and be like, the length of the episode of Taylor Swift Boys 2 is going up. All right, it's going up. It's going
AJ,
up an hour.
I didn't say that. AJ,
3 hours.
No.
Taylor Swift Boys 2. But good ass song there. Solid. She's in the right. I don't know. I can't tell you why exactly, but I feel her paying that song. And again, just for the sick sax parts and the sick guitar parts, you got my respect forever, Quarterflash. Mm-hmm. And as far as I can tell, you're not really notable enough to have like any legal issues, really. So yeah. Let's keep it moving. This is a recent one. This is probably the most recent song we've talked about on the podcast
I don't
in a
know.
pretty long time.
I'm looking at a song at the very end there, and I think we have one more.
I think the song at the end probably came out a little like it's newer.
Yeah, I let's see. This came out. So that came out in May, and this came out in okay. So, all right. It is the most recent song that we're going to talk about on this podcast until the very end, towards the end of this episode, during the last song. But our next track, "Good Luck Babe," Chappell Roan, the breakout artist of 2024. We talked about her briefly on our crap or no crap episode that we did back in the spring, and of course, I made the case that she's not crap. My co-host disagreed with me. And now that I have the floor once again, because I think we recorded that before the song came out, So I feel like after this song coming out, I can pretty definitively say, Not Crap, Forever Vindicated, yada yada. This song's great.
Yeah, this is like the first song I've actually listened to hers like all the way through. Was today. Was like listening to this and I was like, this is pretty good actually.
Well, I will say with this song, like I think her debut album, Rise and Fall of Midwest Princess, is a very good record. It's a very good pop record, but this kind of clears most of that album.
Okay.
Like this song is, it both provides like a nice bit of context for that record. Like having this song in mind when you hear that record makes things kind of, link up and clear a bit more. It's like, okay, like it hits a little more, but at the same time, this is just like so clearly the best song she's ever made, and just like it does clear a lot of that record. It does make me very, very excited for what she's got in the future, but we'll see whenever that next record comes out, because she's still crazy busy on tour and shit.
Look, I'm so happy that we have a pop star like Chappell Roan in the world. One, to show that drag queens can make music that isn't utter dog shit.
Thank God.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Thank God.
And two, this song is probably my second favorite of all of her songs, just for personal reasons. Pink Pony Club is a song that very much so resonates with me as someone that does drag, and the relation to growing up in a very southern. Well, I grew up in the South, so I have a very kind of traditional upbringing in my own way. And so and that song very much so resonates with me. But I think this is definitely in my top 3 of the episode. Nostalgia notwithstanding, I just really like her voice, and I think this is a very good song. I saw a lot of potential on Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess, but there are a lot of songs on there that I'm not a big fan of. Like, I don't love Hot to Go. I don't love Red Wine Supernova. I think they're good songs, but they're things that I could see other artists making. But this is something that is so explicitly femme and queer in a way that really resonates with me. And I genuinely am happy that we have a Chappell Roan that is not only making music, but is huge,
Yeah, I wanted to say that, like, this is a breakup song, but, like, it's also, like, her kind of, like, come to terms that, like, she broke up with the person because, like, that's not who she should be with.
Right.
It's like her accepting her feelings, so it's like, yeah, I'm breaking up with you, but I'm breaking up with you not because you're a bad person, but because I realized that, like, I'm not into you.
Yes.
Also, I want to say, this part is really fucking sick at the end. Like, I heard this, and I was like, this is sick as fuck.
Yeah, the bridge that maybe the best bridge of the year so far. Like that, it's just a crazy good bridge that, like, the song would be good without it, but that bridge just sends it over the top into like, oh, this is just like probably the best mainstream pop hit of the entire year. Which I can say now because that's been the thing, is that she's been the biggest story this year because. As is well known, I work for a company called Planetary Group. We do college radio promo on top of other things. We did the college radio promo for Rise and Fall of a Midwest Princess. So, like, so from like when she was sort of beginning the proper rollout of this record to, and I mean proper, like not like, oh, I put out a single back in 2020 and then it's on the album. It's like when like she actually had like officially announced the album and was like actually properly rolling it out. Being able to watch her from that to like now about like a year later or so, because I think the album came out back in September and now we're recording this in early August. It's been fucking crazy, right? Like, because it's been fucking crazy. Because I saw her open for Olivia Rodrigo. I saw her, and it was a great show, and she and Olivia were fantastic. And then like. And I knew like at that point, like, okay, like she's definitely like blowing up to a certain new level, but that was before the song came out. And then of course this song comes out, she plays Coachella, and it just goes fucking crazy, where like she had maybe the biggest crowd ever at Lollapalooza for her set, or at least the biggest daytime crowd for her set at Lollapalooza. Like seeing the photos, basically seeing the progression of these festival sets from like Coachella, where she's playing in the tent, it's still pretty well attended, but it was like, oh shit, like, okay, this is something. And then like seeing her progressively play these festivals to bigger and bigger crowds where it's like, oh, she's out drawing the headliners and she's on at like 4:30, 4 o'clock, 3:30 to 2 p.m. even sometimes. Like, what the fuck is going on? And then I saw her headline in Rally recently, and she could have played an arena. Like at that point, like there was people in like parking garages watching the show because they couldn't get in. Like she could have easily have sold out an arena. So I think it's one of the more inspiring blow up stories this year, because it's like, okay, here is this queer pop star that is unabashedly queer and isn't like she knows her fucking shit about drag queens, especially Grant, where like, the whole I'm your favorite pop artist comes from like
Sasha Colby, yes.
Which is a drag queen you only know if you're like really into the scene. From what I've read, like it's not a Trixie Mattel where it's like, oh, Trixie.
She won Drag Race recently, but she is not she's not the marketable drag queen like a Trixie Mattel or a Katya or a RuPaul. She's very much so. She doesn't pander to the straights, so to speak, like a Sasha Colby show is unabashedly queer. And that is why I think that Chappell Roan definitely sees a lot in her. I want to say that one of my, I don't know if I brought this up on the podcast, but one of my very dear friends, Lydia Collins, shout out to Lydia, drag queen out of Pittsburgh, opened for Chappell Roan when she performed there and had nothing but very good things to say about her. So I'm happy that we have Chappell Roan and that she is bringing a light to local drag queens, All
right, let's get into our next song on the list. Of course, we talked about the pop star of today. Let's go to a pop star of yesterday, and that being Avril Lavigne with the track My Happy Ending, from not her debut, but from the follow-up album, Under My Skin. And this is another one that I'm surprised we've not talked about on the podcast yet. I feel like we've ran into Avril a couple times. We never quite got into her stuff, but it makes sense because the way this podcast is going, it's a podcast run by mostly straight men in our queer, our resident queer. So that sounded so homophobic out of context.
Resident queer. That's the
resident queer in residence, Grant.
Look, I believe we talked about Skater Boy on one of the White Girl Heaters episodes, or maybe it's complicated. I don't know, but this song to me is forever, as far as its relation to our podcast. A dear friend of the pod, Rihanna, played this in our music league when the prompt was "Song for RuneScape Breakup," and this is like the second I thought of this as a song you would listen to after getting dumped while playing RuneScape. The word association in my head, it can't go away, and so I see like sad little wizard men like doing the cry emote to this song now. But this is a song I loved in my childhood, so that's a compliment. There's an artist we're going to be talking about later that has been compared to Avril a lot, a more contemporary, even though she says Avril isn't that much of an influence on her music personally. But I do see the comparison. I think it is a little bit just a woman who makes music like this. I don't like just women in rock is still treated as a novelty. It definitely was for me as a kid. I was like, whoa, look at this girl who's like rocking like a guy and wearing black. But that's an unfair assessment of Avril because she has a lot of songs I really love, and I loved this song as a kid. I feel like I'm saying that about all of these songs, but it's true. This was a childhood classic.
It's true. I mean, you made a playlist. I think you're allowed to say that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also, again, killer line here. All this time you were pretending. So much for my happy ending. Great line. Like, all-time pop song
Is
line.
this her best chorus is a question I want to ask. Because to me it is.
Ooh, I don't... I feel like Complicated is
good.
Pretty fucking killer. It might be this one. I wouldn't say it's her best song, but yeah, probably best chorus. Although obviously the RuneScape stuff really, like, I think it does make it. I think it is make it funnier and maybe better a little bit because like that is such a RuneScape thing for someone to be told, being like, oh man, I met this girl on RuneScape and we were supposed to be together forever, and then she broke up with me. So much for my happy ending.
This is it's hitting me now that the reason I think this is my favorite Avril song is because this is Avril at her most Michelle Branch in a way.
Right.
Like it's not super punk. It's more so in that kind of adult contemporary wheelhouse, and especially building up to a really good chorus with something kind of really powerful like that. It definitely reminds me of like All You Wanted.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, because I feel like the marketing for this album still kind of had like the whole like, oh, like I'm a punk princess kind of thing, but like the songs definitely didn't really reflect that as much, which is a good thing, honestly. Let's see.
Also, yeah, co-written and produced by Butch Walker. Interesting that on Wikipedia this is sold as a grunge song, which
I mean
makes sense. I get even post grunge, I would call it. Like it's like okay, I guess it kind of is post.
I mean,
like
the grunge to me is such a just on a level of a genre that I don't know if I could call it a genre. To me, it's kind of like classic rock, where the context to me makes more sense. Like if it's a 90s band in Seattle, like you listen to like Nirvana and Alice in Chains and Pearl Jam, it's like, what do these bands have in common, really, outside of their location and era, you know?
Yeah. I think post-grunge is fair. Yes. It is definitely like, it. I think the only reason, like, maybe I, like, it's probably my internal bias is being like, a woman singing grunge? What? That's, and it's not, not exactly sounding like Alanis Morissette, you want to know.
Right.
But here's the thing. Avril Lavigne does not need my praise because she has the praise of the Radio Disney Music Awards because this song won the Best Song to Air Guitar Award.
Yes.
That's like the best award you can find. Let's look at this. This is actually really important information.
Let's see. The other nominees were "Breakaway" by Kelly Clarkson and "The Little Voice" by Hilary Duff.
There had to be better songs to air guitar to in 2004.
Okay, let's look down this list. Come on.
I mean, there is a song on here already that we're going to be talking about next, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Most rock and relative, Hilary Duff and Haley
Duff. Best
Duff.
song to watch your dad sing, "Drama Queen," That Girl by Lindsay Lohan. I didn't even realize that Lindsay Lohan had a song.
Yeah, that was
it's from the
Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen.
See, I definitely never watched that, so I would not know that.
Fair enough.
I did watch it not that long ago. Okay. Like I think when I was like with my ex, like about 2 or so years ago. It's not a movie that holds up. It's not very good. But shouts out to Alison Pill, starring in the new M. Night Shyamalan movie Trap, giving a very good performance in the third act of the movie. A very surprise pinch hit from her in that movie. But to tie this back to the podcast a little bit, 2 things. Number 1, Best Group was won by Black Eyed Peas, beating out Maroon 5 and the Cheetah Girls. It sucks that Maroon 5 didn't win that one. Of course, I'm a huge Maroon 5 fan, just based on the fact that if you go to our Discord server and then, type into the Last FM bot for Maroon 5, you'll see that I have the most listens on the server of Maroon 5 because I'm the only person who took that series seriously by listening to the songs. But also...
Oh, yeah, you go first, and then I'm going to just say what I would pick for the air guitar, because I think I found the perfect answer.
Actually, you go ahead, because my thing was going to be transitioning to our next song. So you go first.
I would just like to say that the Radio Disney Music Awards are a sham, and that Heaven by Los Lonely Boys was robbed in Best Song to Air Guitar.
That's right.
That song came out in 2004, Radio Disney, and I was listening to you at the time. So I know you played that song, because I was rocking with it, and I was air guitaring to it, so...
Damn. It's someone on Indieheads recently. We because they had a new album come out, Los Lonely Boys, and someone tried posting it to Indieheads, and I was like, they're not an indie band. Come on, like they're not. Come on. Like I don't care if they're on an independent label at this point, because like most bands that had like one radio hit and were not actual pop stars, like it's like come on. And then the person got mad in the mono, being like, "What? Why can't I post Los Lonely Boys? It was released on an indie label." Then Vampire Weekend and they're on major labels. They can be posted. What's going on, mods? It's just very funny to get tilted by Los Lonely Boys. And of course, many fans did get tilted when they played their set at Ozfest.
Of course.
And one of my favorite videos of all time, the Los Lonely Boys largest circle pit ever, live Ozfest 2004, which is a video that is like, I will say, if they were more consistent with the footage that they used, like the issues, they're switching back to like multiple different crowds. If they just picked one crowd, for this and kind of match the color grading and lighting more, this would be one of the greatest videos ever.
Yeah, this needs a remaster.
It's very funny. I will remaster this. I will find a specific circle pit and do this.
This is what
it's not difficult.
This is what I imagine happens at like a Goose show.
This is
honestly knowing AJ. Here's the thing. AJ Moser stayed at my house like 2 months ago because he was on the road seeing Goose, and when he did come home from the Goose show, he did look like he was circle pitting. So you're not far off.
Okay, I'm glad to hear that.
But to transition into our next song on the playlist, of course, also on these 2004 Radio Disney Awards, of course, the category is Best Video That Rocks, and the nominees were Come Clean by Hilary Duff, Breakaway by Kelly Clarkson, and the winner was Leave, Get Out by JoJo, and that is our next song. And this one also, for me, Grant, childhood classic. This one's a banger.
I'm realizing that every single playlist I make for the podcast at this point is some different, like, variable flavor of song I liked as kid. Like this,
It's a. Here's the thing. It's a for all of us. It's a deep well. It's a very deep well that we can all mine.
It kind of makes sense though for this episode because like the last song I think really is influenced by like the songs in the latter half of this playlist from like songs from our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think it's a good lead up, to be honest. So,
and this one's crazy because like she releases when she was like 14?
Yeah, 13.
She was a teenager.
That was like always the big marketing pull when she came out. It was like, oh, she's 13. Like that was, I remember it being like the big PR move. It was
crazy
like
though.
Yeah, crazy.
When I was a kid, I thought that she was just like a contemporary, like she was like a grown up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But
no, she was fucking 13, belting her goddamn soul out in this song.
Yeah.
Like this does not sound like a 13-year-old. This sounds like a woman that has experienced things, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Even though, of course, this is probably one of the most immature songs on the entire playlist.
Yeah, but she sells it. It's all in her vocal performance. JoJo is another. She might be the. I've already mentioned it, but JoJo I think is the only actual person on this playlist that actually was a competitor on The Masked Singer. I'm sorry, I keep bringing it up. She lost to Nick Lachey, which.
Oh my god! Fucking Nick. Oh god, that's. I'm not a Love Is Blind person, but I do know.
7 Years by Lucas Graham in a pig costume on The Masked Singer, and I need
to
send that video to Max. I think because the pig costume itself is incredible because it's wearing one of the propeller hats. It's beautiful.
Let's see.
I think I've said this before on the pod, but The Masked Singer is like watching that one Red Letter Media video of the guy losing slots over and over again because it's like
Jimmy the Scott.
Because you want to Robin Thicke is on stage going, yeah, that's Tom Cruise right there. They took off the mask and it's like Donny Osmond, and it makes me laugh every single time.
It's like they don't know what show they're on. It's like, again, like they have to, they probably have to be like, oh, well, we can get actual celebrities on the show and like pretend like they can only get like at best B-listers.
Mm-hmm.
And even then if a B-lister goes on that show, it's almost an insult to the B-lister.
The most famous person to be on it was Kermit.
Kermit the Frog?
Yeah.
Yeah, Kermit the Frog one. I never when that happened. It was like pretty big. It was a pretty big event, dude. Yeah,
Kermit the Frog was on Mask. Oh, I mean, they did pay Kevin Hart to do on one episode, and also Busta Rhymes and Lil Wayne.
Busta Rhymes.
Kevin Hart's kind of like Kermit at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, Kevin Hart's about to be in the biggest box office success of all time, Borderlands.
First movie to make $1 billion.
I don't have a lot to say about the song, but like it feels like it should have ended like a minute ago. Like there was like kind of like when she was doing that high like vocal performance, and you're like, okay, that's the end of the song, but it's like another minute and a half left after that.
Like, sometimes you just need some really good vocalization, and I appreciate it. I never thought this song was too long as a kid. I do think that they could have filled this part with like a fun guitar part, but
yeah.
There's probably a radio edit that we heard as a kid that is
Most
not the one that's
definitely.
on streaming. That probably like cut out like this last part and kind of just did like some normal like fade out during the vocalizations. But Grant, you mentioned it, and we got to watch Piglet performing 7 Years by Lucas Graham.
Okay, let's go.
Of course, this is how embarrassing.
Look at the hat.
He's wearing a fucking propeller hat. He's at a goddamn Death Grip show. Like,
Robin Thicke.
and it's spinning. It's set to spin all the time. He's gonna fly away. Oh my god. I've said this. I think I've said this about this show before, and I will say it again. I feel like it did not give Sorry to Bother You enough credit.
No,
right?
this is straight from Sorry to Bother You.
God, and here's the thing: I can't even blame this on like America, because this is not an American invention.
Yeah,
like
it came from Korea.
Oh my god. God, my boys call me the Little Magician.
Yeah, this is definitely something that someone wore to a Death Grip show. I went to a Death Grip show last year, so I would know.
This is what Max is gonna see at the gates of heaven.
Did you see any Propeller Boys? Any stupid, silly, shitty costumes at your show?
I went to the Alanis show, which was like a few days after the Philly show, and I think we all know what happened at the Philly show. That became So people were trying to replicate that. So
great. Do you know what happened at the Death Grip show in Philadelphia? Okay, I wasn't sure.
For the viewers that don't know, someone used the bathroom in the pit.
Yes.
The Philadelphia Pisser, as they were known.
So people at the Atlanta show were trying to like replicate that. So they're like pouring the drinks in the pit and then like getting around like the puddle and be like, oh, it was annoying. It was bad.
I feel extraordinarily lucky on like seeing them on that tour, because like I went to a show, there was no incidents, nobody wearing stupid costumes, nobody pissing on floors, nobody getting escorted out from like passing out. Like it was a very normal show where, there was pits and, obviously a lot of kids. And the worst thing was like, okay, there's probably like a good amount of BO, but like that was expected. I went in knowing, okay, there's going to be some BO, but as long as you weren't in the pit, it was fine. And I had a great time at that show. And I was because I think like a few days after that show, they were playing the one in Arkansas, I believe, that they ended early because people were throwing shit on stage. And that's why we'll never get another Death Grip album ever again, because you fans fucking suck and you don't deserve one. So didn't think I'd be talking about that on this episode. Let's move on.
Hey, we're talking about breakups. Death Grips, they kind of broke up.
That's true. They did break up, and then they didn't actually break up. Oh my god! Don't remind me.
So,
You're gonna give me PTSD,
so kind
man.
of the subject, but not really.
Yeah. Let's keep it moving. Next artist, next song. I mean, I'm just gonna play it because you're gonna
play it. Yeah.
I didn't even intentionally mean to hint about the song saying you're gonna know.
Dave Coulier, suck my dick.
Dave Coulier, you are never seeing the gates of heaven. One, because you're on Full House, which is a terrible show, and two, because you probably groomed Alanis Morissette.
This guitar part is fairly fun to play in Rock Band 2, I think. I think this is in Rock Band 2.
Yes, it is. That was my introduction to it.
This is a very fun guitar part to play. I just wanted to point that out.
I mean, the bass is great, too. That's a Flea on the bass.
Yeah.
And I think that is, and on guitar, our boy, Dave Navarro.
That's right. It is. Fuck. And I believe, not in the studio version, but when this was being performed live, the late Taylor Hawkins of the Foo Fighters would drum with Alanis, I believe.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was her touring drummer on the tour for this record, and I think like a little bit after, until Dave Grohl poached him for Foo Fighters.
And that is, in its own way, its own kind of super group right there.
A little bit, yeah. Like again, having that, because it's like this isn't like. I mean, obviously Dave and Flea were very well known at the time.
Music is my aeroplane.
God, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is one of the best songs ever. This song taught me what feminine rage was, and I was all for it. This probably, just because I always played the bass parts when I was playing Rock Band, even when I wasn't playing with Gavin, just because that's the instrument I gravitate towards, and the bass track on this was always so fun to play. I'm not a fan of the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Obviously, I'm a member of the Indieheads podcast. I don't think any.
Well, of course.
I don't think any of us are Red Hot Chili Peppers fans, but
I am unfortunately. But I'm a friend, so I'm a friend. So like
you're a friend of the band.
I'm a friend of the podcast, so I guess.
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But, I was
gonna say, which Chili Pepper are you friends with, Jay? Are you not telling us?
I hope it's not Cheddahz.
That's definitely not be.
But this is genuinely a realization that I think I would like the Chili Peppers if it was, lyrics that meant something and not Anthony Kiedis zibbity dibbity skibbity toileting around,
Oh God. Yeah, that's the thing, is that like obviously the Chili Peppers, that's the thing with Kiedis, is that he is simultaneously like the big grand appeal of that band at the end of the day, but he's also like their worst enemy because he's so clearly the worst part of the band. Aside from like literally a very small handful of songs where it's like, okay, like he's not ruining the song, he is almost making it better in a way, or at the very least is neutral.
When I was a kid, I remember there was a website that had like the worst lyrics of all time, and one of them was the chorus to Snow Heyo, and that's one of the least egregious Kiedis.
That's one of the best Chili Pepper songs, because it's Kiedis at his most restrained. That's why it's so good.
It's not the ding dong bone type thing he was doing on that Conehead song. I just realized that we have talked about this song on the pod before on the 90s series, because Gavin brought that You Oughta Vote video that like broke everyone.
Oh my God.
But we don't gotta talk about that. And obviously,
I can't talk about it.
If we're talking,
I don't want to talk about it.
If we're talking about songs where the person that is performing it is objectively in the right, like she's angry and she is hateful on this, but it is 100% justified. Like you hear the song and you want Alanis Morissette to key Dave Coulier's car. Like
I want to do more. Well, probably should do more. Yeah, no, this is maybe the most right anyone has ever been their entire life in regards to a breakup.
It's not related to it's not related to this song, but there's a song on this album called Ironic, which was like the other big hit. So story time. It's not gonna be a long story, so we can keep on going with this. When I was in the 10th grade, my first day of school, my English teacher quit on us. So they had to hire a new teacher, so they did. And we were learning about irony. So she played Ironic all the time. And like we listened to it in class every day for like a month straight. And pretty much like became to the point where like we're listening to like Jagged Little Pill like every other day in class. So I have like a personal grudge against that one. It's like not bad, but like I've had to listen to like so many times, like Boris, that I'm just like, I don't ever need to listen to it again.
That's fair. But that is fair.
But it's a good album. I don't hate the album, and you all know it is a banger. So like, I mean, I agree with everyone's points here.
Well, obviously, I knew this album was. Here's the thing: there will never be another Jagged Little Pill, because this album sold 33 million fucking copies.
Yeah,
33 million fucking copies.
Ironic was the fourth fucking single.
Ironic was the fourth goddamn single.
There's 6 singles for this album. That's kind of wild. Kind of like someone else we're going to talk about tonight on this episode.
Well, yeah, we'll get there.
Very, very similar. And of course, I also did not realize this won Album of the Year at the Grammys. I did not realize
that's actually kind of nuts. What was it up against? I actually kind of want to know what it was up against that year.
Let me see if I can find the whole nominees for 1996. It was Pearl Jam, Vitology, Joan Osborne, Relish, Michael Jackson, History, Mariah Carey, Daydream, and then Jagged Little Pill, Alanis Morissette. That's
such a sweep. Like such a sweep.
Yeah.
Is Relish the one with One of Us on it? I mean, it has to be. Yes.
Yes, it is the one with One of Us.
And
is fucking Pearl Jam. Ugh.
That's the one with. Oh my gosh, that has maybe the worst intentionally bad Pearl Jam song, not like the Brother song. But have you ever heard "Bugs" by Pearl Jam?
I have.
Oh my. Okay, I feel like I've heard it once, but I do want to. I feel like I have to hear it now, just to. Oh God, okay. Pearl Jam bugs. God, I have not had to listen to Pearl Jam in like 3 years, and it's been so good. It's been so good to me. Yep. Sounds like it already sounds like the worst song ever. The one song that we talked about. Oh, the most unwanted song.
This is what I imagine Black Midi sounds like to people that hate Black Midi.
Yeah.
This is kind of like a breakup song. Like this is
kind of yeah.
This is how I feel sometimes after a breakup.
Okay, I'm actually curious what other albums came out in '96 that
the
like
score by the Fugees was nominated or Tidal.
It might have come out. It probably was not within the window
bracket
because it was probably nominated in '97 if I had to guess. Let me see, 1997.
Yeah.
Okay, it won Best Rap Album and was nominated in 1997. So it was after the eligible. That's the thing. I feel like you have to go like 1995 albums are more accurate to the time.
Melancholy.
Let's see. Melancholy, Infinite Sadness, The Bends, Third Class Pulp, York Post, What's the Story, Morning Glory, War Gray Escape, Brown Sugar, Only Book for Keeping Links, Liquid Swords.
Okay, there's some good
goddamn,
stuff.
there's some stuff where I'm like, it's like you couldn't like. There's some stuff where it's like, okay, it makes sense.
95. Okay.
It's like, of course, the Grammys are not going to nominate Wowie Zowie, but it's like, you guys couldn't nominate Melancholy or What's the Story, Morning Glory?
Melancholy got nominated in '97, I think.
Okay, that actually makes sense. It might have come out. If it came out, it came out in October, so that actually is probably like slightly after the eligibility window. This could be a song, Wowie Zowie,
the Bug song. If this is a pavement song, like y'all would be like, this is the best song ever. Like that could be a Wowie Zowie song.
This is dog shit, but I think it's intentionally bad. Like it's intentionally like it's funny enough. It's not even the least streamed song on this album. That goes to Stupid Mop, which is 7 minutes and 23 seconds long. Which, if you ask me to listen to a Pearl Jam song that is longer than 5 minutes, I would want to kill you with a gun.
It's like, could you imagine Pearl Jam being a jam band? Well, here's a 7 minute long Pearl Jam song.
I'm pretty sure that song is kind of like a Revolution 9 type shit take as well, but I don't remember because I don't listen to Pearl Jam.
Yeah, let's please not find it out right now. I'll find out like in my own spare time.
Yeah, fuck Pearl Jam. Let's keep it moving. We got let's speed to these next two songs as much as we can because we're again. I'm realizing
it's time.
Let's see how far into recording
we're
are
like
we?
An hour and 11 minutes.
We're all over an hour.
It's been a fun time. You know, we're
doing okay. Our next song, back to some more modern artists. Olivia Rodrigo with "Good for You." This is one of my favorite hit songs of 2021. This is a pretty great song. And it's a very fantastic breakup song, and kind of getting into Grant, as you were mentioning, sort of women in rock not being taken seriously. Even Olivia Rodrigo, which I feel like obviously Poptimism has kind of swung back in her favor, but still there's the detractors and people that are big little babies about the stuff. But yeah, it's like this was probably one of the best rock songs of 2021 at the very least, and probably one of the best rock songs of the entire decade so far.
There was a lot of negativity that this was just like a Paramore pastiche and stuff, but Paramore is one of my favorite bands, so I'll take anything that sounds like that. So I far as I'm concerned, this is a good song. It a little overplayed, maybe more than a little, but as far as I'm concerned, this is just very good pop punk. Not my favorite pop punk song we're talking about tonight, but it is definitely a song that I enjoy.
Yeah, I think Olivia's cool, and I think it's cool too that like she's like showcased her influences, like when she had the Breeders play like Madison Square Garden. Like that's genuinely that's pretty badass. And like you can like definitely tell she like grew up like parents who like were like around in the 90s, so she was like exposed to like all like music.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this reminds me of the music in that Josie and the Pussycats movie from the 90s, which that movie is awesome. And it also reminds me I feel bad comparing Olivia to like the soundtracks of Disney movies because she is a former Disney child, but I grew up with that stuff and I love that stuff. I love the song Lindsay Lohan did for Freaky Friday, the Ultimate song. I love that kind of stuff.
So good.
Very
the
good
Pink
song.
Slip
Yes.
song.
Like this is did you know they play She Is Beautiful by Andrew WK in that movie?
That's
I did
insane.
not
That's
know
wild.
that, but that makes a lot of sense.
You learn something every day.
Disney used to know what punk rock was, man. But I mean, I went on a manifesto about how much I loved Simon and Milo on this podcast. I am not above some Disney ass pop punk, and I think Olivia may have nailed it more than any of their other previous attempts. You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it just helps that, like, you know, like, this is not trying to be like, it's just, okay, I wanted to make a rock song, and that's
I don't
just
feel
the way
like she's playing a character. Like this is earnestly her.
Yeah, it also helps that you have someone like Dan Nigro, who is one of a surprising number of like pop punk kind of like Warped Tour era guys that have somehow parlayed that into like a successful career as a producer / songwriter.
Right.
Which is it's great because I was talking about this with God, I don't remember who I was talking to about. I think it was when I was in LA back in June, July, where I was talking. I'm like, it's surprising that he is not really produced like compared to like a Jack Antonoff, right? Like he has not really, you know, stepped out and like, you know, produced for like a bunch of people, right?
Yeah.
Like because you would think like after that Olivia album blew the fuck up, you know, he would just go, okay, I'm gonna go like produce for everybody. But like really the only thing is like, you know, he produced, you know, that same like for Conan Gray, who's, you know, very close to Olivia Rodrigo, which I think is actually how they connected, was because he was already producing stuff for Conan Gray and then jumped to Olivia. Did not realize that he produced or co-wrote a bunch of stuff for Caroline Polachek off of her album Pang, which by the way, much better record than the second one. I think that record is great, and the second one not that much. But really the only things he's really done since Olivia Rodrigo, like he's done some random things here and there, like obviously that was the big one, is Chappell Roan. That's the big one that he's also produced for. But you know, like he's only really produced like some random songs and stuff here and there. Like otherwise he is not really aside from Olivia and Chappell Roan has not done any full albums other than Conan Gray. That's the only other person he's done like a full album with. So I'm surprised that he's not been like a Jack Antonoff where he's just kind of like trying to get in with like as many people as possible.
Right.
Like it's almost because, especially because like if you do look at his, you know, his, as we're right now looking at his Wikipedia page and all the songwriting credits and whatnot, and like, you know, he was pretty all over the place from 2011 until you know the Olivia Rodrigo, where like he starts really limiting who he's working with. So it's like, which is, here's the thing, it's ideal. That is ideal, right? For me, it's like the problem with Jack Antonoff is that he's fucking everywhere and he has such a boring shit ass style of producing that it becomes very like stagnant very quickly, especially if he's spreading himself as thin as he is. So like having him be like, hey, when he's producing something, it is important and it's an event. I miss that. It's nice.
Right.
It's nice to have that.
I mean, I think ultimately you want your producer to be like part of the band, like they're like an unofficial member of the band.
Yes.
And because I mean, like we don't like talk about fan power weekend here too much, and maybe it's a bad thing, but they've worked with Avril for like the last like 3 albums, and he's pretty much like a member of the band, but he's not. And then like here you have like Dan working with like Olivia, and like he's pretty much like they're like a duo at this point. I mean, he's not gonna be like on stage with her, but like he's there making the album with her.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think.
You need a George Martin, not a Jack Antonoff, basically.
Exactly. You need someone that like, and but of course you're correct in that statement, Grant. But also like you have Taylor Swift, who is treating Jack Antonoff like her George Martin, and
I mean
they need to break. They need to break the fuck up. It's time to. It's Taylor. It might be time to fully move on to your fucking, who is the producer that murdered his girlfriend?
Phil Spector.
Wall of Sound. Yeah, I think you need to find your Phil Spector that's not going to murder.
Is Phil Spector dead?
Yeah, he died recently.
Yeah, okay, that'd be kind of.
He is dead.
Do you think he choked on his wig?
Have you got gnarly like Taylor like has so much money she could like bring him back from the dead to produce her album?
Revive Spectre.
God, zombie Phil, dude, Phil's again. If you were to make a zombie movie and then have a zombie like styled like Phil Spector, that'd be fucking crazy.
Could you imagine how evil that zombie would be?
Oh my God, so evil! Jesus Christ, talk more like wall of brains at that point.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
But let's move on. Our next song on the playlist, Rilo Kiley, Breaking Up. This is the first time, at least listening to this playlist, was the first time that I've heard this song. And Grant, I'm assuming this one's a childhood classic for you.
More like a teenage classic.
Teenage classic.
Yes.
Same difference, but this one's a good one. And I will say Rilo Kiley, they were never a band that was like super big in the mainstream, really. And I listen to this and I'm like kind of surprised by that. I'm like, why wasn't this band like a proper like alt radio staple?
I will say I was a huge Rilo Kiley fan in high school. I think a lot of it is they're not a band that was throughout their history not a consistent as far as aesthetic goes. They definitely got more pop as they went, which is fine. I like all of their stuff. They started and they were very folk, but by the time they got to their final album, Under the Blacklights, they were doing more songs like this, which a lot of very good songs on this album, but it also has the worst 3-song run of any album of all time to me, which is Day Hollow, 15, and Smoke Detector. Day Hollow is a terrible song. 15 is a song about sleeping with a minor, and Smoke Detector is like the twist if it sucked, basically. And of course,
here's the great. It's funny you mentioned that run because I was like, I wonder. I feel like the run is going to be probably the ones that are the least streamed songs on the album.
Yeah.
In between like 2 ones that have a good amount of streams comparatively.
Yeah.
I was correct.
Dream World is probably, in my opinion, the best song on the album. I know a lot of people like Silver Lining, the opening track, but I think Dream World is them at their most Fleetwood Mac is what I would say. And The Angels Hung Around is a very solid country song. I do like this album, but that 3-song run, I understand why there are people that hate this album and think it killed the band. But really, it's because the 2 leads of the band, of course, Jenny Lewis and I believe Blake Sennett, is that his name?
Yes, Blake Sennett.
Yes, they were dating and then they broke up. Then
that makes sense.
Yeah, and hence this could have been their rumors, but they filled it with some very bad songs. But
yeah,
I love this song though.
It does surprise me that I've not heard anything about like a Rilo Kiley reunion. Like it is almost surprising that that the nostalgia circuit has not hit them yet.
Well,
to
Jenny
do like a reunion,
is doing her thing that I don't really, her Urban Outfitters music that I don't love. But I love Jenny Lewis, but I liked her better in Rilo Kiley. Blake Sennett has said in the past that he's worried that if Rilo Kiley came back, it would be more undead than reanimated, I think was his way of saying it, and that it wouldn't feel like the passion was there. But in 2016, 2015, during a Jenny Lewis show, she did bring Blake up to do some Rilo Kiley songs, so they are on good terms, and I believe it will eventually happen. Okay. But I
think it's just a matter of the right, because I mean, here's the thing: we are coming up. Let's see. Obviously, we already passed the Execution of All Things, and already passed off. Are about to pass. Actually, we just passed.
Yeah, More Adventurous,
right. Which just turned 20. So I feel like, again, it's just surprising because I feel like so many bands of their era, especially, I mean, a band that she's in, the Postal Service, of course, have done their reunion tour, did huge fucking numbers. I mean, I think even the like promoters and managers were like, yeah, no, we could have absolutely played bigger venues on that tour. Like we undersold, which they had reasonable expectations and they got, exceeded because I think, the market was there. So it wouldn't surprise me. It's especially because like I said, so many bands of this era are starting to like reunite and play shows for the first time in a while. Like I know Blood Brothers is reuniting and playing stuff.
Cannot wait. I'm so excited.
What was the one that the Babies that Kevin Morby's in? They're doing a little reunion tour.
Okay. I also,
so I feel like
Oh, I want to shout out Nat too, who's also a huge Rilo Kiley fan, especially of the album The Execution of All Things, which is probably my favorite of their albums. It's either that or more adventurous. But Execution of All Things has the song A Better Son / Daughter, which is definitely a song that resonates. One of my favorite songs in high school, still a favorite song of mine. That just very much so. A band that I would like to see come back.
I mean, I agree. They don't make new stuff. Just play a couple shows.
Yeah, because there are plenty of bands that that are very clear just not going to release new material ever again, but still are touring or come out for a reunion tour every now and again. I think at this point people understand when a reunion tour is a reunion tour.
Oh no, A Better Son / Daughter was used at the end of Hannah Gadsby's Nanette.
Oh God. God.
I actually haven't seen it, so I just know it from the memes.
Yeah, let's see. I know I just saw Barry on here. I may type in Portions for Foxes.
That was in
the episode of Barry.
Portions for Foxes. We will be getting to when we talk about Rock Band 3, I'll say.
Oh yes, but folks, let's stop.
It's time. It's time.
Let's give a little bit of context for this next song. So, Grant, Jay, which one of you wants to take this one and explain how we discovered our next artist and this next song?
Okay. So my twin brother Gavin, shout out to Gavin. We love Gavin here. Big fan of the 155 podcast with Josiah Hughes. And Josiah was the one who discovered our next artist, deegie, and her song Old Spice, Eric Number 1. Posted it on Twitter. Gavin sent it to the podcast Discord and said, added everyone and said, you need to check this out now. deegie is a former lawyer who quit her job working for Hulu, I believe.
It was Hulu, yeah.
Yes. Along with her husband to make pop punk music about her ex-boyfriends. And the first time I heard Old Spice, Eric Number 1, which is the song we'll be talking about tonight, I said, oh no, this song is going to consume my life. Because it's easy to make a joke that quitting your job as a lawyer for a multi-million-dollar company to make pop punk seems like a very funny thing. But the thing is, this is probably my favorite pop punk song I've heard since I was a child. I genuinely became such a fan of deegie and her music. I pulled up my Last.fm stats. I have listened to deegie 345 times since we first discovered her, and this song 131 times. This is a complete coincidence that we are recording this episode on the very day that the album that this song is on, X's, dropped.
Stealth FYC, everybody. This is a stealth FYC for deegie X's.
I've listened to the album multiple times already today. I highly recommend it. Jay and I both follow deegie on Instagram. We are regularly in her comments. I've been messaging with her. She is incredibly sweet. I want to say that. deegie, I hope you know, on the off chance that you actually do find this episode and listen to it, I want you to know that you are my favorite rising artist. Completely no joke, no irony. You hit pop punk in a way that absolutely encapsulates what I loved about it as a child. And when I messaged her and said, my friend Jay also really loves your music, she said, wait, you mean Cheddahz? That Jay?
It's funny. I've heard that statement probably 100 times in my life in person. I'm like, oh God.
Look, we're both regularly giving her support on Instagram. She is a sweetheart.
I want to say about the song, I heard it for the first time because I found it out, the same way, through the Discord, and I listened to it, and I was like, man, this is really funny. Just the chorus. What we were listening to the song, but I started listening to
the line.
The line is so wild, but I started listening to it more, and it's it's such an amazing song. If this would have come out in 2004. And it was a Michelle Branch song. It would probably be the biggest song of the year.
Yes, this is this is the best song that Yellow Card never wrote, is what I'll say about it. Because I could see this being played alongside like Yellow Card and Bowling for Soup and all of these songs and artists that I really loved growing up. Like Lily doesn't feed into our bullshit in the Discord at all. But Lily listened to Old Spice once and immediately went on a manifesto on how it like represents what pop punk needs to get back to with the pre-choruses and like it's a very brutally honest song. And DG gets a lot of really negative comments from trolls because she is a woman who makes music, and that's enough to upset some people on the internet, obviously. But I feel like she understands that pop punk has to be earnest, it has to be honest, and that sometimes means oversharing to the point of embarrassment. Like, we all live for the song Josie by Blink-182, and that's a song about your girlfriend loving you even though your dick is small, okay?
It's
like,
yes. It's cringe, and like that's the thing. I think I think breakups, and I think like talking about love and like being in a relationship is all cringe. Yes. And I think DG gets that like 1%. And like I think a lot of that has to do with like, you know, she's a love child of like pop punk music. Like, you know, she was like in her teens, like 20s when like all the stuff was coming out in 2000s. But like she's also like lived her life.
Yes.
So like now she's like, I don't give a fuck. Mm-hmm. And she's gonna be like, I'm just gonna put this all out here. And like to me, maybe I'll close the chapter for me.
Yeah, this is definitely like, this comes off very much so as someone who is putting themselves in the shoes of someone who's already lived the experience. Like it's not teen angst, but it is revisiting it in a way that feels authentic.
Mm-hmm. Which you gotta do sometimes, I think, just to get over it. So
yes, absolutely. Yeah, this is the acceptance stage, basically. Mm-hmm. We haven't even listened to the song yet.
Yeah, well, let's listen to the song.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
let's listen to the song.
So from DG, it's Old Spice parentheses Eric #1 from the new released X's. And I will say from yesterday, I believe, was my first time listening to the song. I purposely avoided DG because I knew that we would talk about her on a podcast at some point soon, and it was better that I come to this episode relatively blind. And I get it. This is sick.
This is great.
This is sick.
This would have been like an Octavio game if it came out 20 years ago.
Because here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. So at my job, I'll fully admit it, I work some pretty bad music. We work music by a lot of amateurs and, you know, people that are just getting started in the industry. They're just very like...
Shut up. Me wet.
And I will say, going in, I did expect that this song would be like one of those where it's like, okay, like someone that like can't sing, doesn't know engineering, doesn't know any of this shit. This is a very competently made song, which is a fucking crazy accomplishment.
It is, yeah.
Because based on the story, this is a crazy accomplishment. This is not only like a competent song, but like a pretty good one at that. Like, this is a good song.
If I'm completely serious, completely honest, this is my song of the year. That chorus...
you listen to it 100 goddamn times. It's gotta be.
But that chorus is incredible. Like, I've had this song stuck in my head since the day we found it. Like, and it's not just me. It's so many people in this podcast. It's Rena, it's Jay, it's Gavin, it's Will. Well, we all have caught the DG fever. I bought the signed LP of this, and the second I bought it, DG messaged me because she recognized my name and said, "I'm so excited to sign it for you." And I was just like, you don't need to be this nice, like, but like, this is such, I don't know, the chorus to this, it does hit me the same way that like a Michelle Branch that I would listen to growing up does. But and also I love the bridge. I've learned this song on guitar, I've learned it on bass, I'm learning it on drums. I go and play jam sessions on Thursdays with my friends, and I've made them all listen to DG. Genuinely, she did a great interview with Josiah of 155 very recently, and she said, I want to do this for as long as I can, you know, for 10 years, see how it goes. If it works, it works, and if it doesn't, then I can say I did it, which one, I think is admirable, but I really hope that she finds her audience, because I know that there is an audience for this, of people that grew up with pop punk like us, that want something that, because with love to artists like Olivia Rodrigo, it's definitely modern music inspired by the pop punk that they listened to growing up. This feels like it's an artifact of the era, but in like the most positive way. This could play alongside Avril. This could play alongside Simple Plan. This could play alongside Paramore. She could have been on Warped Tour with this song and it wouldn't feel out of place. And I think that there is some validity to that. And I think like the entire album has very good songs. Drink Till I Puke is very good. There's a song that was not an EP, Gray Area, which is a genuinely a jaw-dropping song that it genuinely it's
do we want to listen to it?
I mean, it's kind of a sensitive subject, but I think that the fact that it was kept hidden and then released with the album, that makes it impactful. And it because about half of this album was released beforehand as singles. So I was like, when I saw the track listing, I was like, okay, so there's a couple songs I don't know and a little brief interlude at the beginning, but I wonder what's going on with these songs. And that one in particular is like kind of in its own way the emotional centerpiece of the album. There's other songs like Drink Till I Puke is another one about not the worst ex, but a very bad ex. But that being said, this song
the chorus here rules, by the way.
Yes,
I think I might like the chorus here a little bit more than Old Spice. Just that's my.
I don't know if I would go that far, but this is the song that inspired me to start talking to DG, because I've brought up Monkey the Juggalo on this podcast so many times, but after he was a real asshole to me one day, this song came out like that same week, and I started listening to it, and I was like, I was a teenage girl. Writing "fuck you" on my Sharpies, you know, like I understood everything that she was putting down in this song, and also shout out to Moodtown.
Yeah, shout out to Moodtown.
Yeah, have we talked about Moodtown?
Whose name is also Jay.
Yeah, also Jay. Yes.
Oh God, yeah. I want to hear about Moodtown. I've only gotten the little bits and pieces of the Moodtown lore from you guys in the chat.
So Moodtown is DG's husband and producer. Am I right?
Yeah, he's kind of like the Dan to her, her Olivia.
Yes, and very much so. He played every live show we see of DG. He's rocking the guitar, and he produced the album. He has a adorable cameo in the music video for this. He was also a lawyer, I believe, for Hulu, if I'm remembering right.
He was a lawyer. Like, he has a LinkedIn page, but I've never looked at it because I'm not getting like that deep into their lives.
Yes, yeah, but I think that they both understand the genre of pop punk very well. So, and I think because according to the interview that they did with Josiah, a lot of these songs came about by just DG and Moodtown talking about their exes together, basically. And they would take, like, Moodtown would ask, so what do you remember about the relationship? Like, what did this guy do? What did he look like? What did he smell like? And that's where Old Spice came from, was that specific question. And I think that's a particular creative process that I really like, that you can get from two people who are very intimate and know each other very well. And that, I think that is one of DG's strengths, is the fact that she has Moodtown.
I kind of want to point this out too, because like we talk about DG, you know, being like the age, you know, like in her 40s, like making pop punk music, and like there's like some teenage angst to her songs about her relationship. But, like, she's looking at through like a teenager perspective at times, and like to me, like this is kind of what I want out of like pop punk from people like that age. And like a good example of this is like Jimmy Eat World. Like they're still angsty, but like they also realize they're like older now.
Yes.
So they're kind of writing from like two perspectives. Like they're kind of angsty, but they're also like over old. And then we have like Blink-182, which I love Blink-182, but like I'm not gonna listen to a new Blink-182 song because it's like them trying to be 20, but they're 50 now.
Yeah, I mean, if we're going the DG route of just looking back on your teenage years versus the Matt Skiba of approach of still going through your goth phase, I'd take the DG route.
Yeah, like I mean, and I think like if you're making pop punk like at that age, you kind of have to like realize that, you know, it's not a bad thing. I think it's a very healthy thing. And like I get that from when I listen to the DG songs. It's very much like oh, I hate him this like a lot, but they're talking about like adult issues in like her relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay, so I'm reading the DG interview right now that Josiah did, and they met because they played in a cover band. They were coworkers, and they met because they were playing in a cover band together, and that's how they met and fell in love, and then eventually created this album. So I think it's awesome. That's really sweet. That's honestly a really sweet like little meet cute.
It is.
Yes. Like
let's listen to another. Which one should we listen to, Grant?
I chose or did you choose Drink Till I Puke, Jay?
I think Matt just started playing it.
I started playing that one because I feel like we didn't want to play Gray Area. I think
Gray Area works best in an album or EP context.
I feel like Gray Area, like we're not joking. Gray Area, really good song, but it definitely like I wouldn't listen to it on its own. It's good to have it in the context of the record because it does come at like a gut punch.
I'm trying to think about which one we can listen to next. Maybe
Cleveland's a good one.
Yeah,
or
maybe Scraps.
Yeah, Scraps is
let's
a good
listen
one.
Let's go with Scraps. Because here's the thing, I did listen to this album today because I wanted to prepare for this episode, and again, as I was saying, I'm just so used to when we actually listen to like a record or from one of our guys, like there's just always going to be like, okay, their voice sucks, the engineering is terrible, yada yada. It's like this is it. I really cannot overstate that this is just like the. And I feel like it's an insult. It's like it's so competent, but like it really is for someone that essentially like that wasn't really a professional musician, like kind of, you know, just found this kind of newfound passion for music later in life, especially, you know, her own original music. It's really fucking good.
Yeah.
Like it's really goddamn good.
The thing I love about DG is that her lyrics are like genuinely so honest to the point of oversharing. Like there's a line in this song in particular about how Cleveland will only do doggy style on her, and for someone to put like that would be a song that Blink-182 would do in the 2000s. You know, they would be like that brutally honest in a way. Like usually with someone, I hate that we are. Oh, this is the line though.
Oh God. Okay, hey, I'm Tony. Cool girl, only bros, brutal. Damn, that is. Damn.
Yeah, she goes there.
The lyrics for this.
Yes.
Yeah, damn.
Yeah, like she goes there, and it genuinely, it kind of pisses me off that so much of the communication on DG in her comments in everything is the fact that she is a 40-year-old woman who does pop punk. Because I don't think pop punk should, one, be a boys club, or B, I don't think there should be an age limit on it, especially if it's a genre you grew up with. Like exactly. It is for us, like it is for DG. Mm-hmm. She is, to me, she is, like, we should just look at these songs as what they are. They're songs about living through breakups in high school. Like, they are looked at in a way that they are lived-in experiences, and I think that's a plus. I think that, like, if a lot of artists like, you know, like an Avril or something release this, I don't think it would be as efficient because Avril Lavigne was never this honest, you know?
Right.
But
and DG also because she's older now, she can kind of look back. She's both simultaneously able to like tap back into those youthful feelings, but also come at it from a much more mature place and a much more like from a place of like wisdom of sorts, right?
These songs are not like "fuck you, I hate you." They're you were an asshole I'm going to call you an asshole because you were an asshole at some point in my life, basically.
But she's like poking fun like at the person and like herself too. She's like, why the fuck did I only let him do doggy style on me? Like, and she's like open about it.
Yeah, the line about I tried to be the cool girl.
Yeah.
But only doing doggy style is getting to me. You definitely get a glimpse of what DG is like as a person, and that is what I like about this.
I want to say it's the first half of the interview because there's two different halves. There's like a first half and a second half to the interview that she did. Yeah, and I think it was in the first half, and she like mentioned that she like went to a Catholic school growing up, or she grew up Catholic. So a lot of her like feelings like regarding that stuff were very like repressed for like the longest time. Mm-hmm. And I want to say, I mean, I'm not going to speculate here or like assume anything, but like I think maybe at one point it all just kind of like exploded, you know?
Yes.
And like to her, she's like, I'm gonna go all out, and I'm just gonna put everything on the line, and like that's kind of her way of doing this. It's like this album or EP or however you want to call it. It's been called many different things.
Mostly by us because we've been using them interchangeably.
Yeah, but like I mean, I kind of relate. Like I grew up like Southern Baptist, and I think I was kind of repressed, you know, regarding that stuff for the longest time too. And then like one day, just kind of like explodes or you implode from it, and like I think that's just kind of what happened to DG, and it's not a bad thing. It's like it sucks that like it happens when it does, but like it's healthy, you know. It's just you know she made her a lot more public than I did.
This song or this EP to me is very much so like let's talk about your childhood kind of feeling,
right?
Like it's putting you there in her shoes. And if in a lesser artist, this would be kind of heavy-handed, kind of blunt, in a way that isn't tongue-in-cheek, in a way that doesn't sound authentic. If it was just like a song about like studio-written kind of vibes about like fuck my ex, I'm gonna like trash your car or whatever. I wouldn't be there for if it was like a before he cheats kind of Carrie Underwood thing,
right?
Like where you're like you could tell that this is inauthentic. But if there's one thing that I would say is DG's strength, it is authenticity. Like it's not easy to come into pop punk late in the game and just decide one day I want to get into this. But I think she's nailing it, and I am excited to see where it goes from here because she's got a fan in me for real.
Oh, I agree. I mean, I bought the CD. I'm like rooting for her. I want to support DG.
Yeah. I guess let's listen to one more. Actually, we have a music video. The one, Dan, which we'll watch this as we kind of wrap things up a little bit.
Did I mention I spent $50 on her store the second her merch dropped?
Yes. Oh no, you haven't. I think you vaguely mentioned that.
I bought everything except the signed CD because I already bought the vinyl edition of the album, so I felt it wasn't necessary. But Jay did, in fact, buy the signed CD. So
yeah, so we cover all the bases here.
Yes, we cover all of the bases of the DG store. I want to say DG Moodtown, if you are listening to this, because I am currently messaging you as we talk about this. But I want to say, if you released shirts with like the like a pun on the those shirts that were like popular in like 2016, where it had name and name and name and name that were like popular in fandoms. So it'd be like,
oh yeah,
so it'd be
with
like,
all the X's.
Yeah, with all the X's, but like the X from the album that you have over
all the X's on the names.
Yeah, put that through the names, and then DG, which is uncrossed out. I would buy that shirt in a heartbeat. I would get it in pink, I'd get it in purple, black, white, whatever color you want to sell it in. You don't even have to credit me or anything. Just I would love that shirt.
Yeah. God, this is again. Here's the thing. I again, DG Moodtown, if you're listening, again. What's the Shaq thing? I didn't recognize your game.
Yeah.
All right. I didn't recognize your game.
Did we mention that DG's a good singer too? I feel like we should mention that.
She's a great singer.
It really cannot be overstated, listeners, just how blown away I am by the fact that like oh shit, like she's fucking cool and good.
Yeah.
And the fact that you know she sort of took the attention she got from Josiah in like complete stride, where I think like people are like, well, I kind of get why this is funny, because like inherently like, oh, the smell of Old Spice makes me wet. That's just inherently funny. But like DG's very well in on the joke. She knows that's kind of a ridiculous line.
Yeah.
She's very self-aware about that. And I think that really is the thing, is that there is the right level of taking this seriously and playing it pretty straight, but also kind of realizing like the inherent kind of like, yeah, I'm, a woman in my 40s and I'm making pop punk. Like, yeah, no, like there is something inherently kind of, but like, it's just, God, it's good. It's good. Also, I'll be respectful. Mootown, if you're listening, I'm gonna be very respectful of your wife.
Matty.
She looks hot as fuck in this video. She's
beautiful.
She's really beautiful, actually.
She's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Looks are killing in this video.
And also, I love this song as well. This reminds me a lot of the Paramore ballads, which, as I'm a huge Paramore fan. So a lot of people call her like discount Paramore, which, one, that's not a bad thing. And two, you can make...
And also, it's not like Paramore's going to be making the music they used to make back then. Like, we're not going to get that again. And a lot of the bands that have tried to, like, come up after them making that kind of music, it just doesn't hit the same.
Lily said in the chat that the chorus to Old Spice is a better chorus than anything Paramore has made in their last two albums, which, while I do love This Is Why, and I don't
know about that,
I love
but I get it.
I love Paramore. But I do miss the pop punk days. I understand why Hayley Williams would not want to go back to it because of the bad memories and who she was as a person back then. But I will take DG to pick up the hole that Paramore left in the pop punk world. I think if anyone should fill that hole, it should be DG, because I genuinely have fallen in love with her music so much.
I guess my closing statements on this. So I had a tropical storm like come near me this week, Debbie, which could be a great name for a DG song. Just point that out there, Debbie.
Right.
But I watched all four American Pie movies that came out in theaters because I had nothing better to do with my time, because I was like home for like 2 days. And I watched American Reunion, which was like the last one they made in like 2012, 2013. But like they're all like in their 30s at that point, but they come back home for like their high school reunion. And like, they're dealing with like adult issues, but like, like they're back to like where they were like when they're like were teenagers. So like they're dealing with like adult issues. But like at some point, because like the people they're hanging out with, like they think very teenage like, like they're like going back to their good old days. And like this album like reminds me a lot of that, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
And like that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a bad thing. I think sometimes you have to like go back to who you were like 20 years ago to realize something now.
Right.
Exactly.
And I just want to plug the playlist I made, the DG Summer playlist. It's full of DG songs that remind me of her, and more contemporary pop punk that, while they are modern pop punk, they don't hit the same vibe as DG, but they're close enough. Things like
DG, please come on the pod.
Hell
Genuinely,
yeah. I'll
DG,
listen to that playlist.
DG and Mootown.
I would love to talk some, like, just DG. If you want to send me a playlist of like 10 songs you consider like the essential pop punk songs of your youth, and just come on the pod and talk about that, we would love that. We would all.
Yes.
I mean, it would become. Everyone would fight to be on this episode because you have shooters in the Indieheads podcast.
Yeah.
No.
We're going to have a sequel to this. That's kind of wild to think about, a sequel to this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, there are at least 5 people that we know of that are fans that bought your record. Like, obviously, Grant, Jay, I think Rena bought it.
Rena is the trifecta of, like, major DG fans right there.
Yeah. You have shooters, and we are, again, and at a moment's notice, DG, we are willing to fire upon anyone you ask. So if there's any actual mean trolls that are coming at you, we will fucking attack them. Like, no, God, we're going after them like fucking Black Hawk Down. All right, we're bringing them to a permanent end. Okay,
DG Defense Squad.
We're gonna tell these trolls to watch this drive, and we're gonna fire away.
What's that saying they have online, that the pop punk army?
Defend pop punk.
Yeah, defend pop punk. There we go. Yeah, see, I'm 30 now, so I forgot what that term was.
That's fair. That is fair. But I think that will come to a close this record. Go listen to X's by DG. A genuinely pretty good pop punk record. If you like pop punk and you want, a good pop punk record, this is a good one. I think it's much better than a lot of the other modern pop punk out there these days, including another kind of pop punk adjacent record that came out today from a fairly big artist in the scene. Like I listened to this and I listened to the new Oso Oso album today, and I will tell you I much preferred X's to Oso Oso's album, which I don't even remember the name of that album at this point. I listened to it today.
I never been to Oso Oso all that much. It's fine. It's fine.
You're not missing out on much. Me. He's got some great songs. But otherwise you're not missing out on too much. But yeah, that will wrap up this podcast. Thank you all for listening. Let's see. I was going to announce what we have coming up in the near future. So we have a couple of numbered episodes up on the docket to kind of, as sort of a transitional period between Pod Hero and our next series as coming up. We have actually, I will say by a couple of numbered episodes, we really only have another one before we get into our next series, but we have a bonus episode coming out next week that will be up on our Patreon feed for all of our Patreon supporters that support us for $5 a month or more. So hey, patreon.com/Indieheads podcast, $5 a month gets you bonus episodes and gets you all the other perks, including Discord access, exclusive rooms in our Discord server, all that stuff, stickers, etc. It's a good deal. Get it. Support the podcast. We do genuinely rely very much on your support. If not for our Patreon, this podcast would not be a thing anymore, because I don't think I could pay for this podcast out of pocket. And again, it genuinely helps the podcast keep going. So please, thank you so much to our Patreon supporters. Again, you guys are fucking champions, and we thank you so much. But coming up on the Indieheads podcast, so we have 2 episodes coming up. Of course, our bonus episode, which I will just say, the episode is called Jones Soda. Jones Soda.
What the? Gavin is my brother, and he made the playlist, and I don't know what the fuck this is about to be.
That sounds kind of scary, actually.
Actually, let me check the play. We're not going to reveal what's on the playlist just yet, but I'm curious what he put on this playlist. Okay, it's just a bunch of Jones. It's just a bunch of songs either by Jones or called something Jones.
I can't believe Redacted is on this playlist, and there's Redacted as well.
But other than that, and of course, our last numbered episode for a little bit will be we're finally returning to Forks, Washington. We're finally talking the Twilight Saga Eclipse. Of course, we've talked about the original Twilight. We've talked about the New Moon soundtrack, and we're now talking about the Eclipse soundtrack. So that is planned towards the end of August. But of course, the big thing happening, our new series, not our new series, actually, it's season 2 of a series. Best New Pod is finally coming back. You probably saw on my Twitter already that we are kind of getting some guests together for the series, but Best New Pod officially will be back. Season 2 will begin on September 15th. But before then, we have 2 episodes before then. We're going to finish up our cuts. Of course, we talked about the songs that we cut from the 2010s part of season 1 and the 2011 parts, and we're finishing that off with our 2012 cuts. And then we have a little bonus of going over my should have been best new tracks. We're starting off with mine, which is kind of funny because I'm not even like the main host of the series. I just so happened to, it just for some reason they decided I should be the one to go first. So that's what it is. It's going to be our bonus episode for September. And of course, season 2, Best New Pod, talking about the various best new tracks from 2013 all the way until 2015. And that will take us from September 15th pretty much for the next 3 months of the podcast. We'll be going through the various best new tracks. Already, we have some fucking amazing guests lined up for the series. Again, I was blown away by how quickly people wanted to be on this series. So we have a lot of great guests coming on. Some returning guests, some new guests, and some guests that we're still in the process of booking. So things are still fresh and wild and free for Best New Pod. So I'm very excited for the series. I've been listening to the playlist that we've put together for this, and it's a bunch of fucking heaters. Took me back down memory lane. Really, really excited to have the series going again with Rose and Jackie. So I hope you all tune in. And of course, if you want to hear those episodes 48 hours before they come out, patreon.com/Indieheads podcast. And if you want to hear us talk about the songs that we cut from the 2013 episodes, 2014 episodes, and 2015 episodes, along with the should-have-beens, those are going to be up for our bonus feed on Patreon for $5 a month. So there you go. God, I sound so nasally right now. Sorry. I feel like I have like a cold / allergies coming on. But anyways, thank you all for listening to this episode. We will see you all next time. And actually, before we go, Jay, anything you want to plug before we go? Thank you so much for joining us.
Not really. Go listen to the new deegie album. It's really good. I guess I'm on twitter.com at Cheddahz. I don't know. Yeah, that's it, really. Just go listen to the new deegie album.
There we go. Perfect plugged. So that will do it for us on this episode of the podcast. And we'll see you next week. Well, for our real ones, we'll see you next week for Jones Soda. And then 2 weeks from now, we'll see you all as we talk about Twilight Eclipse soundtrack. And then Best New Pod, Season 2. Very excited to get it going. And yeah, we'll see you all then. And yeah, bye-bye.
Here's the thing, we started out friends. It was cool, it was all pretend. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, you dedicated, you took the time. It wasn't long before I called you mine. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, and now hear me say is how I picture me with you. Yeah, all you ever hear me say is since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on. Yeah, yeah. Thanks to you, now I get what I want. Since you've been gone. I even fell for a stupid love song. Yeah, yeah. Since you've been gone, how come I never hear you say I just wanna be with you? Maybe you never felt that way, but since you've been gone, I can't breathe for the first time. I'm so moving on. Yeah, yeah. Thanks to you, now I get what I want. Like I love you, wait. They don't love you like I love you, maps, wait. They don't love you like I love you, wait. They don't love you like I love you, wait. They don't love you like I love you, maps, wait. They don't love you like I love you, wait. They don't love you like I love you, wait. They don't love you like I love you, maps, wait. They don't love you like I love you. And since you've been gone,